every month. And this month, I am so excited. We have Daisy Grenade. I'm so excited. I am going to let them into the chat, but first off, let me just introduce them. Daisy Grenade is a power punk grunge band that has been making waves in the emo punk scene. They've toured so much already this year with the likes of Fall Out Boy, The Maine, Water Parks. They're having a massive year already, and I'm so excited and honored that they're sharing some space with us today to talk about mental health and music. So let's see, it always takes a second.
Hello.
Hey!
Hi!
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks so much for sharing, spending some time with Backline.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh. Well, first off, how are you two doing today?
We're good.
Good.
Yeah, it's been a
good
good day.
Okay. Amazing. We'd love to hear it.
How are you today?
We had a lot of questions come in through either DMs on our Instagram. Folks were super excited to ask you questions. So I'm just going to start because I know we only got, a few half hours. So y'all have been touring a lot already this year, which I'm an artist myself. I get how touring can be. How do you find the time to balance life on the road and also maintain your mental health?
When we figure that out, we will let you know.
I feel you.
Ongoing process. It's getting a little bit easier with each tour, I think.
Yeah.
We're finding what works for us on an individual level as well as on a group level. You sounded like you were going to say something, so please,
thank you. We tour with, we're very lucky in the fact that we tour with like 7 of our best friends, so it makes it a lot easier to have kind of a space like in the group, which makes a huge difference, I think, on a grander level. And something that we implemented this last tour, which was really helpful, was, I think we were just calling it a vibe check, which is something that our content person, Jamie, who's amazing, she's literally sitting behind the camera right now, she introduced us to something she does in her relationship that we kind of started doing, where instead of like coming to someone like with a problem as it happens and being like, hey, are you mad at me? Are you upset about this thing that I did? Being like, just group vibe check. Because then it's like not this sort of like attacking thing, or like, because tensions just run high because it's a really stressful environment. And like I said, I'm really grateful to, your mom's here. I'm really grateful to be able to be in an environment with our best friends that allows us to kind of have that sort of open communication. And we've always had that, but having that specific time where we didn't necessarily do it every day, but we tried to do it like I think every like show day.
Yeah.
We would sit down, the 8, I think there was 8 of us, right? 8 of us together and just be like, vibe check. And it was really helpful to have some people sometimes be like, I'm feeling really full right now, so if anyone has like needs to vent or something, or like I'm available to that, or the opposite of being like, I'm having a tough day, it's not you guys, I'm just like a little shut down today or whatever.
Just being really open and communicating, trying to work on our communication and just the way we communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And understanding that we are in a tour this could be an entire other conversation, that just it is such a unique environment, and it's very hard to explain to people who are not there, but you understand it so fully while you're in it. So trying to just be gentle with each other and really choosing how we communicate with one another, understanding that we are all kind of in this like pressure cooker environment.
Yeah.
But yeah, the vibe checks were game changer for us. Really game changer for us.
For sure.
I love that, because I think so often it's really easy when you're on the road to take, just to not be able to read someone, or if they're going through something and you're not sure, then it's so easy to internalize that and be like, oh gosh, what did I do to this person?
Or like, you're just like in this like such a crazy environment where it's like sometimes you snap and you say something you don't mean, and you can tell it bothers that other person. So like also to do it as a group is really helpful. And it's not like I'm not talking to Danny about like something that I feel bad about that I said to Jamie. Like I'm just going straight to the source and just being like, I said this thing earlier, I know it pissed you off, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, or whatever. And then there's no sort of like in each other talking about each other to each other.
Yeah, it's just kind of all on the table. We're all a part of it because we're doing a group thing, so we kind of all have to.
We just like to lay it out there.
Part of it, and like on an individual level, it's been a lot of like trying to find, like, I know for me personally, I've been trying to incorporate more like, oh, we're going to Target today. I'm going to do this by myself. I'm going to walk the aisles of Target alone because I haven't been, I need me time right now.
Yeah,
and
that's huge.
there isn't a lot of opportunity for like
To be alone.
true solo time.
Yeah.
So I try to find it here and there, and it is often actually Target.
Hey, we love a Target run. But also, it's so true. I don't think people who don't tour, I don't think people understand how very little time you actually get to yourself.
Yeah. It's crazy. You're just like so inundated with like, then you get home and you're like, hello? You know what I mean?
Right.
Just sitting around people literally constantly.
Have y'all experienced post-tour blues? Is that a thing that you,
yeah.
How is that for you, coming back home from off the road?
We were just talking about this, but I literally need I need several days, maybe even weeks to like come back to like normalcy. Because I'm like, we're opposite in this way. Like, if I could be on tour every week of the year, I would do it because I like to like be in motion. I like to keep moving, which is also an issue in itself. But I'm just like, I go. And Dan really like likes being home and likes having her routine. And when that gets like jumbled up, like it's more stressful to her in that way. So I feel like you do better. Like when you come home, you're like, I'm good. You like get your shit back. And then like,
there's definitely like the weird disconnect. This is something else we were talking about today, of like coming home and like going back to our day jobs after just having the opportunity to have just played arenas and then like, you know, going to my part-time job,
Same.
Which are two separate beautiful things, but there is an incredible disconnect there. That kind of second to be like, oh, normal regular life where I go to my job and it's not the one where I'm singing on stage in front of people, and kind of trying to balance that and like smooth the
transition. And it's just also that thing where it's like you're in an insane, when you're on tour, you're in just like a crazy feedback model all the time where you're like literally going on stage and like sharing energy or like receiving energy from like at some point it's like 40,000 people. And like I've always wondered that when I've seen arena shows or seen stadium shows, I'm like, how do these people go home and sleep at night? Like I don't get it. Like the energy is just like so crazy. So all of a sudden to have that, all of that energy just dip out, you're like, what is going on? So I just try to be I'm trying to get better at being gentle with myself when I get back. It's really hard though. I have a really hard time with that. So
it's a practice.
Yeah.
It is a practice for sure. We want to know, why is talking about mental health so important to y'all?
Because we struggle.
It's this, we're getting better, I think, now as a society in being more open about it. And like, I was thinking about this yesterday more of just like, I was thinking about like sick days versus mental health days, how we've just started being like, okay, you can actually take a mental health, that is something that is valid as much as if you have the stomach flu or something like that. And we're still, you know, we're still bridging that gap. We're still trying to, but I think the more we talk about it, the more people who listen to our music are like, oh, they struggle with the thing I struggle with. I mean, it seems so like common sense, but I think it's the more you talk about it, you make it a common thing, it's the more people feel like they can get help they may need. They feel less embarrassed to ask for resources or to look for resources, or they feel less alone in that. I mean, that's for me, like hearing artists that I listen to talk about their struggle, I'm like, oh, I feel this. I don't know. It's a unifying
it's like
thing
a camaraderie
to talk about
thing
it,
where it just feels less like you feel less alone in your feeling. Because I think when you're like really down or whatever, you know, whatever anyone struggles with, it's so easy to feel like no one has ever felt this before. Like I'm experiencing this way, and that's just like not true. And I think it's like very, I don't know. And Danny and I have not figured it out. You know, I think that's important to say. Like, also, like, we don't have some like guidebook that we're going off of here that we're like, we got it down. This is how we do it. You know what I mean? We struggle on a daily and weekly basis, and like how we deal with it with each other and with as a group, but also just like, you know, figuring it out on our own has been like a journey and will continue to be. And I think that that's important to share with the people who listen to our music. Because like someone asked us one time, they were like, what's the biggest inspiration behind Cult Classic? And at the same time we said mental illness. And we were like, that is what that entire album is about. And
specifically for us, just like so much of what we write about, I think, is our personal journey with mental health, and a lot of it is pulled from that. So it's kind of like we want to also openly speak about it on like an interpersonal level, not just on a musical level, not just on an art level.
Yeah.
But like as people to other people, like, yeah, this is our experience. If you have it too, like we're here to listen, we're here to share, we're here to provide resources. I mean, when we found out about y'all, that was just the coolest thing in the world. You guys are doing
such a sick work.
You guys are doing the true important work, and we're so grateful that you guys exist. So it's really it's a really special thing.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, we at Backline are big fans of you two. And when, you know, we jumped at the chance to try to have this conversation with y'all because it's so important. It is so important to have artists be so open about their own struggles. And I loved when you said that y'all don't have it figured out, because who does, you know? And it's so important to admit that. I think there's so much freedom in admitting, like, we don't have this figured out, but we're going to try every single day to
try it out, you know. And like, both of us have really, really supportive partners as well that are really helpful and kind of like finding that balance after tour. Like, I'm just like really trying to learn how to like rest. I don't know how to do that, and it burns me out so bad. And yeah, I have a lot of support in trying to like figure that out, but I have not figured it out by any means. And it will continue to come up for me, I'm sure.
All you can do is just show up every day for yourself and try. I also have such a hard time resting that my partner actually got me a book called Rest, all about how to do it.
Yeah.
So I feel that struggle for sure. Do you have any practices or habits while you're on the road that help you stay in tune with your mental health, with your mind, body?
Yeah, last tour, I was trying to do a little bit more just grounding practices. Like my skincare routine at night is the one that I bring from home on the road. This is something I can do every night. I'm with myself. I'm taking care of myself.
You kind of got me into being like a lot more consistent about it. That has like bled in. Sometimes I'm just like go to sleep in my makeup, but now that it's been such a thing that we do on tour at the same time before we go to bed, like it's very helpful.
Yeah, it's just like I'm like, okay, I'm here now. I can like assess what, like, we just did a show. I can kind of like let that go through. I'm like, I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm doing something for myself. That's really the thing. It's like trying to find little things I can do for myself, little treats here and there. Even like rubbing my own shoulders before we go on stage, or like taking 5 minutes to meditate. That kind of went out the window, but I tried it. I tried it at the tour, and I'm gonna try again next tour as well.
We at one point about out, and that also sort of fell to the wayside. Yeah, that's really helpful for me.
The schedules are crazy.
Yeah.
That's why doing skincare at night is a win.
Yeah,
like taking a few deep breaths is a win.
Making sure is a huge value, even if it means like passing out in the back of the van and being able to just be like, I have to sleep, and if I don't sleep, something bad is going to happen. So I'm going to the back of the van and I'm passing out. Nobody bugged me for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Our bandmates and our tour manager and everything have been really incredible in taking the bulk, almost 100% of the driving.
I didn't drive once last time.
From the two of us, because we use that time to sleep, to kind of recoup. I speak mostly for myself, but I think it's for both of us to say, if we don't get enough sleep, if I don't get enough sleep, that's when things start to take a turn as far as mental health. And it's
really hard to do, you know, because you're getting up early and trying to find that time can be really
just
hard.
Prioritizing sleep, water, drinking water. There are such simple things, but they really make a difference.
Yeah, they do.
They make a huge difference.
My meds and having my friends remind me to take my meds every day is a beautiful thing.
All right, so for all of y'all watching, get some friends that will help you remind to take your meds. That is so important. Y'all are playing in front of massive crowds of people. How do you deal with performance anxiety? Is that something that y'all have struggled with? And if so, you know, how do you get prepared before you step on stage?
I get really nervous. I don't know if anxiety is the right word, because I really like being on stage, and I always have been. And I've both been performing since we were really little, so it's like something that comes very naturally to us. I used to get really nervous I didn't really this last tour, actually. I did like the first 2 days and then I kind of got over myself. My anxiety comes more from not like the actual performance aspect, but there's so much like tech in our set now.
Mhm.
Like, you know, the tracks and the ears, and like in a big arena like that, if you can't hear anything, like you're screwed. So that stuff gives me anxiety, where I'm like, if something goes wrong here, like we might totally just have to like start over or something. I don't know. And like I remember like the first show, our drummer controls all of our tracks and everything from like literally like an old MacBook that we put on like boxes. It's like not glamorous or like high tech and everything. And he'll usually check the click in our ears just to make sure that we can hear it. And then when we're like, we can hear it, we're good, we go. But he started the set 3 times. He started our intro, where Danny and I are not on set, started our intro 3 times and nothing came through the PA for the first 3 times. And he's standing up, like looking around, like, what the fuck is going on? And then like, we just realized that our front of house just wasn't ready yet and hadn't given him the go. So we hadn't turned the PA on.
Okay.
But I was fine. But of course, I was on the side of the stage, like, I was about to throw up. I was like, you're joking. The PA doesn't work. It's broken.
The PA is broken.
That is so stressful, though. And that's, again, something that unless you're a performer, an artist, like, you don't really understand just how stressful that can be.
Yeah, it can be. And it's like once things start going and I know everything's like working, it's pretty much, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's less about like performing in front of people and just making sure that everything else is going to run smoothly.
Yes.
We're like a really small crew, you know, we've got the 5 of us on stage. My boyfriend's our TM, one of our best friends, Andy, does our front of house, and then Jamie, who takes photos, and that's it. So it's like, we are on our own. And like, we better be ready to fix it and make it work, you know?
We had quite a few people reach out and ask how y'all deal with creative blocks. Is that something that happens? And when it does, or if it does, do you lean on each other, on yourself, or do you just step away?
It's happening right now, baby.
I'm
in the middle of it.
I am much more of like a step away. Like I don't usually try to push something to like to the finish line if I don't feel like it's worth it, or if I don't feel like I'm feeling it, like, 'cause then I just feel like it feels forced, unless I'm like doing like an actual like exercise of being like, I'm gonna write this about this today, and if it's totally terrible at the end of the day, I'll just scrap it and move on, whatever. Dan is more like, well, you're just more of a than I am, to be clear, which is amazing because I have none of that. I'm like, it's great. Everyone's like, that's really bad. But, like, so she writes, you like to come out with something that is like done, beautiful, wrapped in a bow, it's ready to go. And most of the time, I would say a good 90% of the time, she does. But we just had like a really funny you bring this up. We just had a really long conversation yesterday about, she felt like something she had written. Do you care if I share this?
No.
She felt like something she had written just wasn't hitting like the right way that she thought it is going to. And I was like, buddy, I was like, if you have one song out of every 10, like you're still in an incredible margin here. It's like not everything you write's gonna be Billboard #1 hit. You know what I mean? And like,
it's trying to train that voice in my brain. Because this is also kind of newish.
Yeah.
Like it's all like a new journey. So it's trying to like retrain that voice, that insecure part of my brain. That's like, it is okay. It is okay for it all for me to go through a block where it's not working.
A block, or just even like if you write something that you finish and you don't like it, like that doesn't make you a bad writer. Like that actually makes you a really good writer, to know when to like stop and pull back. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of the opposite, where I'm like, I only write when I feel like I'm like, this is a great idea, which is like always right either. But I think like you like to have things finished and beautiful, which is amazing. Like I said, 90% of the time they are. And so it's like when one doesn't hit, you're like, what?
Okay,
what the heck?
Why not? But the other half of that question, I like to go to I try to watch like movies.
Mm-hmm.
I try to read books. I try to go to like the other art that I love to try to maybe reignite or re-inspire some other portion of my writing. Because I think sometimes if I sit in the music too much or try to listen to other music to inspire my music, it just kind of becomes like some kind of, it's not working.
Right.
I personally try to go to other art that inspires me.
We also do lean on each other a lot, where it's like we'll bring a lot to each other a lot. And I mean, 90% of the time, if not 100% of the time, not one of us has completely written one thing. Like I would say usually like somebody is, even if it's someone's like pretty much full idea, someone will go in and the other will go in and kind of like tweak, like adjust or whatever. So it's like very, or if it's like I have half of this thing, I don't know what the rest of it is, or whatever.
We'll just hand it to each
You'll hand
other,
it to the person.
help each other out, which are very lucky to have that ability to do that.
Yeah.
I love it because I find as a songwriter, I try to, if I try to push too much or just like, no, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait until something comes, that never works for me. It's always like, no, go live life, go outside or read a book or get inspired by watching my dogs or something, you know?
Yeah.
And like, it'll come. But I love that. I love that it's just like, again, it's just the practice of showing up. And
yeah, where that's actually the hard part.
That is. What brings you to joy? That was another question that a few folks sent in.
That's so sweet.
I love that. What brings me joy? So much brings me joy.
I love that answer.
Yeah. I don't know. I find joy in everything.
I feel joy when the sun comes out, because sometimes it rains for like, we live in New York and sometimes it'll rain. Like the last like 2 weeks it has been like 45 degrees and rainy, like pretty much straight. And then like 2 days ago the sun came out and I was like, life is beautiful.
My dog with my partner to the park the other day and I was like, the sun was out and I was like, this is it, man.
Oh my God, really good food brings me joy.
Yes.
Really good food brings me a lot of joy.
Me as well.
Yep. We're like,
that.
Really food.
Food and sunshine and a dog. What more do you need?
yeah.
Like,
literally.
that's kind of it, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
Love it. I love that. All right. Another question was around social media. Love it, hate it, need it. I mean, especially as an artist, like, what are your thoughts on being a modern day artist and having to be so present on social media? And does that affect your mental health? That was another part of the question.
It's so complicated, right? Like it's this dichotomy of like needing it to function as an artist and sort of having this like disconnect of being like, I got into this to write music, not to be a content creator, but sort of needing it to do the other thing, you know what I mean? Trying to find content to create that we enjoy and making it like a part of our job in a joyful way has been something we're working on. We don't post anything that we don't like, and we don't make anything that we don't like, and that's huge for us. That said, obviously the responses are always very varied, and when as you get bigger, the margin for like mean things gets bigger. And yeah, we're both really, we have been talking about this all day. I'm starting a podcast with my friend, and Danny was a guest on the podcast, so we've been talking about this kind of all day. But it's like, I had a friend of mine who's also an artist reach out and was like, how do you deal with this? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to deal with it yet. Danny's is like to completely disengage, whereas mine is to like seek out as much of it as I can, so I like know and have information, but that's not doing it for me. So I don't know.
Yeah, I find when we're on the road, because of 13-hour days in the van,
Right.
I just kind of scroll, reading the comments, scrolling, looking at how our posts are doing,
Right.
checking engagement. When we come home, I try to remove myself for a bit. This was the first time post-tour. I've been off Instagram since the day we got home, and I will come back Friday. Which is a full month.
Amazing.
Is what I need to do to kind of like reprogram the habit of just opening my phone and mindlessly scrolling. And I hope when I come back that I have a little bit more healthier for me relationship to it, as far as how often I'm checking it, how often I feel the need to look at the comments. But yeah, like Keaton said, kind of
She's disengaged.
I kind of stay away from it for the most part. I don't really seek out anything positive or negative. I kind of just put it out there, and I hope that people love it, and I'll see them next time.
Yeah, I'm getting better at it. I have what my mom calls the justice gene, where when someone says something mean, I want them to know that I've seen it and that it hurt my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
That is not healthy, nor is it sustainable. So I'm like working on trying to curb that sort of instinct of mine. Whether it's like well-intentioned or not, it just is not a sustainable model, especially as we get bigger, where there's like so much to read and so much to like have a feeling about that it's just like it just can't happen. So I am working on it. In progress would be the answer to that. And yes, it does affect my mental health in a very way.
Yes.
Just know that if I'm watching that's going to leave mean comments on someone's Instagram or TikTok, we see it. And we are people.
And it makes us feel bad.
And it hurts our feelings. Not only does it make us angry, it really is extremely hurtful and so deeply unnecessary.
So unnecessary. So unnecessary. We just have a few minutes left, so I want to ask, what is your favorite part of touring?
Performing. I honestly, but let me clarify that. It's performing with my friends. I get to go on stage with some of my best friends every single night, play the music that we wrote for people who paid to be there, which is crazy to me still. And it's no matter what's going on during the day, no matter what's going on in my personal life that I'm trying to deal with on the road, we get to like have 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the end of the day.
To lock in with our buddies.
To just lock in with our buddies and have fun and kind of not forget, but just like not have to handle that for a little while. And that is the most, I can be dealing with the worst thing in the world. Knowing I get to do that at the end of the day is really like, that's it. That's it for me.
Yeah, similarly so. I think it's like the feeling of getting to watch, like, I was just say like my stupid idiot friends who like I just have known for so long who are just like little like
looking around at you guys on stage.
It's always just like
you're having so much fun.
I've just seen you guys be so dumb, and now you're like up here.
And now you're
like,
a rock star.
Now you're like up here in front of 20,000 people, or like even on the other side of things, like watching my partner like run it. You know what I mean? Like tour Vanderdesk and just like do it and like really hit it, or like our friend of house Andy, like, you know, mixing in an arena for the first time and then just getting back and just kind of being like, I can't believe we just did that. Like that's so stupid that we just did that. Yeah. So it's so silly. Like it just makes me laugh and I love it. It's like, yeah, it's wonderful.
I love that. It makes such a difference touring with your best friends and folks that feel like family. I mean, it's such a game changer.
Yeah.
Such a game changer.
It is very
well, we're gonna wrap up, but like what's on the horizon? What are y'all working on or excited about?
We've got So What Fest, June 1st in Texas.
And then we've got summer starting in July, on July 12th, all the way through August 9th. That is like a full US, so we'll be all over the place. And we've got some really cool, exciting stuff in the works that I can't tell you about yet, but we've got this year is going to be really big. So we're really excited and just everybody stay tuned.
Well, we are so grateful for y'all taking the time to talk to Backline about mental health. This has been such an incredible conversation, and it's been really fun getting to hear like your responses, and thank you for being so candid and real. That's what this industry needs. So thank you.
What else?
Real talk, right? Awesome.
Thank you so much. It was really awesome, and we just love what you guys are doing so much.
Yeah. Thank you both so much. I'm definitely going to catch y'all on tour this summer, so I'll hit you up.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Goodbye. Bye.